The Patriots surprised or may have not surprised some people earlier today as they put two former starters on the trade block before cut-down day, August 26th, which is next Tuesday. Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. And a big reminder, roster cut-down day is August 26th. That is Tuesday. That'll be when they have to cut down from 90 players, which they have right now, all the way down to the 53-man roster. So throughout the week, they are going to make cuts and cuts and cuts, and a lot of people are going to be, unfortunately, losing their jobs. And we got you covered here on Patriots Today, and we want this channel to grow because we are going to make videos every single time we see the Patriots make a move. So with this new video today, go ahead, click the share button, send it to a friend, and when you do, comment Pats, and everybody who does that will receive a shout-out. But I gotta see 20 shares on this video for me to give shout-outs, because if you're typing Pats and I don't see 20 shares, that means you're not sharing that. So go ahead, share it to a friend, and comment Pats down below. All right, let's get into it. So the first trade block, and I've talked about it nonstop. I've talked about it on this channel a lot since one of the first videos that I made was, should the Patriots cut Kyle Duggar? And everybody called me crazy. Well, earlier today, this is from Jordan Schultz. Andrew Callahan of the Boston Herald had it first, but you guys know Schultz a little bit more. The Patriots have been open to trading Kyle Duggar, whose role has been reduced this summer. Duggar is still viewed as a talented, impactful player, and there are several teams that he'd be a much better scheme fit. The contract will complicate any deal, and one source said New England would likely need to eat money just to make it a conversation. And when he says that, I mean, his contract is absurd, which we'll get into in just a little bit, but he's completely fallen out of rotation, guys. Like, the Patriots' unofficial depth chart has him listed as the starting safety, but that is completely wrong from what we've seen. And he has gotten he's been okay. I'm going to say, like, his performance in preseason hasn't been what we've seen of him in the past, but overall, he's just kind of really, really declined. And from what we've seen from the start of OTAs, the start of minicamp, to training camp, to preseason, the writing has kind of been just on the wall for Kyle Duggar, and it's just been slowly but surely declining and declining. Like, sat out the spring practices, which was not a good move. And then once the training camp started, it was a crazy thing that he was moved to second team. And everybody was like, whoa, Jalen Hawkins, he's going to be the starter now? And then there was playing in the fourth quarter against the Vikings. And another thing, Jabril Peppers did not practice in one of those days. He did not move back up to first team. He was still there. He was still with the second unit. And then the latest news that we got was the last practice, the full team practice. He was moved to scout team with Trey Avery, who was just cut from the roster. So that's where he's at with the Patriots. And the stats, I mean, they're decent. Like you could see last year, he was suffering a high ankle sprain, which he played through. 81 tackles, 1 sack, 4 pass breakups. But then 2023, you could see 108 tackles, 7 PBUs. 2022, okay. And then he has been a great player, but since 2024, like, I'm not going to look at the tackles and be like the in-all, be-all type of stat. He has declined, and it's going to be very, very tough for Duggar to make this team because, one, that Jabril Peppers is on here, Jalen Hawkins. The Patriots don't want to put him in the starting lineup. That's all it is. But it's also going to be hard for someone to find a trade candidate for this guy because if you look at his extension that he signed literally back in 2024, this is a ton of money. 4 years, $58 million, an average of 14.5, but it goes up. I was looking at some of the cap hits for this and some of just how much he's dealt throughout each and every year in 2027 and 2028. It goes up to $18 million. So the Patriots are going to have to eat a lot of that. 32.5 guaranteed. Like, no one wants that contract. Everybody in the Chat Sports office, I said, who needs a safety? And they went, yeah, we could use Kyle Duggar. And then they see the contract. They are not taking that. They are not taking that contract. The Patriots are probably going to have to eat some of that. And we kind of look at the situation. All right, if no one wants that contract, if no one wants to trade for him, which I think is a really, really big possibility, you could cut him. But if you cut him, then he's going to be owed, or you have a dead cap hit of $14.25 million. And the Patriots, they have they have plenty of cap space to just eat it up. $59.25 million, basically $60 million in cap space. They could eat it up and just not worry about it. But do they really want to do that? I don't think so. So my prediction is that unless the Patriots eat 2/3 of that contract in a trade, which I probably think you'll get a 6th or a 7th round pick out of it because everybody doesn't want that contract. They see, all right, well, he's out of rotation, that they're probably going to cut him in the first place. I think that he's going to be a big cut candidate and that the Patriots are just going to bite the bullet and get rid of him. With all the cap space that they have an out after this year in his contract. It would be worth it for them to just cut him, move on, let him find somewhere else, get a new clean slate, and get a fresh start for the veteran safety. I hope well for him. I really do. And we're going to see a lot of him tomorrow night. A lot of him. But we will also be live for Patriots Giants. It's the preseason finale. We're going to last see before everybody gets cut down roster date. I don't know if we're going to see some of the starters, but we will see some competitive football. So make sure you subscribe to Patriots Today and turn those noties on and tune in to our watch party. We will be live at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. This episode of Patriots Today is brought to you by Prize Picks, and welcome back, Prize Picks, to being a proud sponsor. Preseason football is underway, and college football is here, so don't miss any of the action this football season on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. I've been using Prize Picks even before I got hired here at Chat Sports, and now I'm super excited that they are a sponsor once again. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. I have a lineup for everybody, and Prize Picks given a max discount. Dak Prescott, week 1, more than 0.5 passing yards, and then season-long projections. Drake May, more than 19.5 passing yards, and Stephon Diggs, more than 735.5 receiving yards. You can make a lineup of your own. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The link will be in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, run your game. It's edge rusher Anfernee Jennings. And how many times have I been talking about Anfernee Jennings for the past 4 months? I don't think he's a good player. I don't think he's a good edge rusher. And I don't think the Patriots needed him because of the system that the Patriots use on this team. Jeff Howe, he tweeted this out as the Patriots have actively scored the trade market. They discussed Kyle Duggar, which we have already talked about, and Anfernee Jennings as players who could be available in a swap per sources. It sounds like Jennings has drawn interest, while just like we talked about, Kyle Duggar's contract has been viewed as an obstacle as a potential move. And I think that Anfernee Jennings is a cut candidate or even a trade candidate because you can see right here. As an edge rusher, you're only getting 2.5 sacks, 78 tackles. He is so much more of a run defender than he is a pass rusher. We saw it in the preseason games. When teams are running the ball, he looks really, really good. When you pass, besides that Vikings game, which we'll get into in a second, he does not look good whatsoever. He cannot get to the quarterback. He kind of abuses the interior offensive lineman, but once you get on the outside with the tackles, it's pretty bad. It's bad to say the least. And Jennings has tumbled down the depth chart. He has fallen. Like last year, he was a starter in this league, and now he's kind of fallen all the way behind Truman Jones. You have Keon White, Harold Landry. Kayvon Chason has also gotten reps at the edge position at first edge compared to next to Harold Landry, and Keon White have kind of just been rotating in and out. Then you have Truman Jones. You have Braden Swinson. I put Elijah Ponder on there, which we'll talk about on the next one of our upcoming videos, but he is a solid player. But Anfernee Jennings hasn't been solid except for one single game. One single game. That's it. And it was against the Vikings where we saw him kind of dominate, but it was also the fourth quarter. Anfernee Jennings, 6 tackles. He had 3 sacks in the Vikings game. 1 pressure, and then a PFF grade of 82.8. But I'll say it again. you're playing against, in the fourth quarter of games, against third stringers where you're a former first string. You're a former starter. Like, to me, it feels like a tryout for other teams. It feels like, hey, we're going to play you as much as possible for you to kind of show your talents, show your trade value. That's why Jennings was playing in the fourth quarter of each preseason game. It's not like we saw a couple players like Jabril Peppers, like Harold Landry, like Kayvon Chason. You play a couple quarters, if that, and you come out. We saw Robert Spillane try to get more reps, play in the second quarter. Second half comes out, you're done. You're not playing. Anfernee Jennings and Kyle Duggar, completely different story. And the Patriots, they don't have much time. They got 6 days, if that. We're recording this right now at 5:30 Eastern Time. That's basically 5 days. So you have to figure that out in a small time period, and you're going to see a lot, and I mean a lot of snaps for Jennings and Duggar against the New York Giants. They are going to try to find a partner and try to play him as much as possible. We might see both of them on special teams, for crying out loud. But at some point, you have to build that value and try to make some trade. Because I don't want to cut either of these guys when you could easily you could easily find a partner, save the cap, and maybe even, I don't know, you could maybe keep Kyle Duggar. I don't think you're going to keep Anfernee Jennings, but it's 100% possible, and we won't know until that cut down day on Tuesday. So I'll ask you guys, before we get on out of here, pick one to keep. Do you got Kyle Duggar or Anfernee Jennings? Type KD for Kyle Duggar or type AJ for Anfernee Jennings. That's going to do it for this latest edition of Patriots Today by Chat Sports. Make sure you hit that sub button. Join us for tomorrow's game against the New York Giants. We will be live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure you subscribe. And as always, let's go Pats.